Welcome to Here, There, and Yonder. And we have in our studio today someone that most of you remember, know, because he's been here quite a while. It's Fred Rodarte, and he was the host of Fiesta Musical. And so, welcome to Here, There, and Yonder.
Well, thank you, Barbara. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. And so many people have missed your music.
Well, I know that I still get comments. I've had people come up to me and tell me, "Can't get you on Channel 10 no more." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry. What
Well,
can I say?"
we've had people in Gallup that say, "Why don't you do this anymore?"
Oh, really?
Right. So even in Gallup, they've missed you.
Wow, that's
Yes,
good. That's
it
good
is
to hear.
good to know. Well, Fred, why are you here today? Because I think it's important for you to start off telling our audience just exactly what you're up to.
Well, just recently, as you know, Barbara, I've been retired for a number of years, and I was in public office, and I've served in different capacities. And I've kind of taken a little hiatus, a little time off. Me and my wife are both retired, and we enjoy our retirement. We enjoy hanging out with each other. But I decided, you know, it's time for me to get back and more involved, get more involved in the city. I enjoy the city. I love our city. I was on the city council for 10 years, and I enjoyed all the different projects that we did. And I think we did some good things while we were there. And I want to get involved again. I enjoy that atmosphere, and I think that I can help make good things happen in our community.
Good, because good things are the things we always need, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, what's your vision for our community? What would you, let's say that 5 years from now, of course, a city councilman serves for 4, but at the end of a term, what would you like to see happen in our city?
Well, right now I see the city is doing some infrastructure on First Street, going to be starting here pretty soon. They did Second Street, and it's good to see. It's good to see the infrastructure that's going on around Grants, and a lot of things are in place that I helped get involved in years ago, like the new animal shelter and the new municipal court building, and stuff like that. And I think that we can get involved and do more. We're kind of seeing a little bit of tension come up right now because the power plant is going to be closing, and so that's going to affect some people, and that's kind of sad. I don't like to see that. Grants has been on the up and down loop several times through uranium, and I want to get involved, see if maybe we can help economic growth and bring more jobs back to Grants where they should be.
Well, from the very beginning, Grants has been a boom and bust area.
Yes.
And there was a time when San Rafael was much bigger than Grants. I mean, they had big warehouses there. They housed the Army there. It was a big, big community. And so we need to look at cycles of economic stability. And there are many, many things that our city is doing now to promote economic growth and economic development. And promoting that, I think, is a role of our city councilman.
Well, I know that when I was in the council before, anytime that we put together projects like when we worked on building the animal shelter, that was a 5-year project. It took us 5 years, cost like $3 million, and we got it done. And because the old animal shelter was in a state of, it wasn't in very good shape, put it that way. And now we have a state-of-the-art animal shelter in Grants, and it's doing good for our community, as well as the whole county. And I was happy to be involved in projects like that, and any projects that the city and gets involved in that betters the community for the people and for the city of Grants. I want to be involved in that, and I most enthusiastically support any good projects that are being brought forward to the city of Grants.
Okay. So you mentioned, as we talked earlier, you mentioned the refinery. That's something that you're eager to see happen.
Well, from what I've heard recently, that it's in the works. That it is going to happen. I'm very hopeful for that, and from all indications, it's gonna provide some good employment. Not only good employment, but good salaries, and that'll be a good boost for our community, a good boost for the area. Because it's kind of sad to drive around Grants and you see a lot of empty buildings, and that's very sad to me. And if I can help alleviate and get more businesses going and growing here in Grants, oh, I want to be a part of that.
Right.
Most definitely.
Now, you mentioned retirement. What's your position on retirees moving into our community?
Retirees, I think, have a lot to offer because they have a lot of, like me, I'm retired. I can lend myself and get involved in projects that are good for the city of Grand. Sometimes the working man, excuse me, well, he's got to make a living. And a retiree, well, if we promote more retirees coming into grants, we have more of a pool of people to encourage to get involved in doing good for our community and growing our community.
Well, one of the things is that they already bring their money here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to provide jobs.
That's for sure.
Right.
And one of the big pluses that we have in this community is we sit right on I-40. I-40 is a major corridor from the east to the west, or vice versa, and we have much traffic that goes through here all the time.
That's right.
And we could capitalize more and more on that corridor.
That's right, absolutely. So I mentioned, what is your vision for our city right now we've still got problems with streets and roads in our community. We've got problems with our infrastructure. Mm-hmm. It's old and it's crumbling underneath us. Then we've got a need for industry to come in. So what would you like to see as a city councilman happen to some of these things?
Well, one of the things that I've been hearing lately, news coming out of Washington, that there is a bipartisan plan to address the infrastructure in our country. And that's, not only do we see the aging infrastructure in our city, but it's happening countrywide. Old bridges, old roads, and you see many times driving from here to Albuquerque, they're always having construction on I-40 because of the aging infrastructure. And so they're talking a lot more about investing more money in infrastructure, and the more that becomes a reality, the more we can tap into it as a city and bring some of that federal funding into grants, so that we can because in order for us to fix all the infrastructure and grants, the aging infrastructure, grants can't afford it. We just can't afford it. It is going to take a lot of federal help to do that, because I know that there's infrastructure all over the city of Grants that is very old, and just now we're going to see the construction of First Street coming. The rest of First Street is going to be done, where they're going to replace all the sewer lines, the water lines, which is good, and it's an ongoing project. Infrastructure is always ongoing.
Well, there is a section on First Street that they're not going to be able to address, and that is the plume is still there from the laundry, the laundry that generated mm-hmm. that. So there's going to be a section that's not going to be part of First Street, because that has to be totally gone before they can finish that one section that goes into the Rio San Jose.
Well, I remember when we first started the initiative to redo First Street, the state mandated us because there was contamination in the ground. We could only go from Santa Fe down to Washington. And so we had to stop there. We couldn't go any further. And now that area that you're talking about is still going to be left untouched, but the rest of First Street will be addressed. And hopefully once all that's cleared up, we can address that part. Because one of the biggest issues that I made my voice concern when we were doing First Street was the drainage, and it has improved. I've seen the improvement. Still, down there on the other end of First Street, when it rains quite a bit, there's still a lot of water there, but it has improved. I've noticed the improvement. I know that very clearly because I own a building there, and the water used to go all the way up to my building. It doesn't do that anymore. And so the drainage has improved, and my understanding is that they're going to put a better drainage situation going down First Street, which will be even better. So anyway, that's something to look forward to. I've been approached by the city because they're going to be tearing up that whole street, and they've approached all the businesses because they're going to have to encroach a little bit on their properties, and so it's coming. It's coming.
Okay, very good. And you know what? Another thing is, when I had the elder hostel program at the college, people wanted to walk from the college to their hotel. They were walkers, and they wanted to get out and exercise, not be in a classroom or on a bus, or so forth. No sidewalks. So now we're putting in sidewalks.
And that's good to see. Very good, yes.
So, and so wouldn't it be wonderful if we could have not only the infrastructure, but the roads taken care of and new sidewalks all over our city?
Well, and not only that, they're putting a separate lane for bikes, which is a big plus as well. Because it's good to walk down the street. One of the things that I'm getting used to is when they redid Second Street. They eliminated one street, and there used to be a stop sign there, and every time I drive up Second Street, I feel like stopping, but there's no stop sign there. Well,
it's taken me a while to get used to that because I was ready to stop. I mean, we just program our brains, right, to do those things, and so now I still have a tendency to want to slow down or stop. I don't have to stop. I can just keep on going.
Well, you see there, right there in that specific area, you see nice sidewalks. You see a walkway there that's really nice, and it just makes you feel good that we can do stuff like that in our community.
Right, and so back to the 4 years.
4 years.
What would you like to see happen in 4 years if you're elected to the city council?
Well, I guess one of the main things is to continue the infrastructure that is taking place, and look to getting more federal funding to address the infrastructure. Two, when this refinery comes into town, which seems like it's coming into town, is to capitalize and on what's going to take place there, and how to better use what's going to come as a result of that, and always promoting our city on Interstate 40. Always looking to draw people here on I-40 to Gratz, to visit Gratz, to help our tourism industry, because we got some good tourist attractions and things of that nature, Barbara. I'm very hopeful for Gratz. I kind of, like I told you, like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of sad to see a lot of the empty buildings, and so that's kind of one of the underlying things behind me wanting to get back involved in the city is to help Gratz progress.
Good. Okay. Well, keep in mind that you can contact. How could someone contact you if they just wanted to visit with you, Fred?
Well, there's a different ways. I live right on Gratz over there by Los Alamitos at 813 Seville Loop. I can even give my number if you want that.
Why don't you do that?
My phone number is area code 505-290-1200. That's an easy number to remember. I even have an email address because I have people ask me from time to time, they want to email me songs or stuff like that. And it's frodarte05@gmail.com. That's not not too difficult, and so you can get a hold of me. And then you see me around town all the time. You see me at the stores, shopping at Smith's, Walmart, or Milan Supermart. You know, I always consider myself very approachable. People come and talk. I like to be friendly with people.
Okay. Well, we wish you well in your endeavor. And remember that we do have an election coming up. I believe it's March 2nd?
Third.
3rd.
Yes.
Sorry, March 3rd. 3/3/20 is the date. So keep in mind that all of the candidates that want this forum can come without a charge. Thank you for tuning in to Here, There, and Yonder.